Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on this edition of the REI Hacker Podcast. My next guest is Nate Woodbury. He's the author of A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. He's a YouTube producer for many seven-figure influencers. He's helped them grow their YouTube followings and turn their channels into lead generation machines. He also teaches them how to leverage their expertise on YouTube and position themselves as the hero that people are searching for. Nate, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun space. I know you do a lot in the real estate world, and I've produced a lot of real estate channels. Happy to chat with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We happen to be in the same mastermind, the family mastermind, and uh, during the last in-person event, you held I guess like a breakout room, and
hmm
you did like a mini master class on how to increase views on YouTube and how to get more influence there. But you didn't start out in marketing, right? You've got a financial background, and then you got into kind of the internet world and doing SEO, and then finally positioned yourself as the YouTube expert. Tell me about that journey.
Sure. I thought I wanted to be a dentist, so I got a degree in human biology, and as I was finishing up that degree, I realized it was really the entrepreneur side that I loved, not the medical side. And I found an opportunity to work in finance, kind of as an independent contractor and learn the ropes, both of money and of business. After about 6 years, just needed a change of scenery. And so I got a telemarketing job in the internet marketing space. I learned about web design, learned about search engine optimization, and I'd been tinkering with websites and just anything related to a computer for ever since I was a teenager. So when I learned this world, I started to experiment. Um, and I posted on classifieds that I could design websites just to see what I could do on my own. I got a couple customers, sold them a $500 website, and they were happy. And I decided to take the leap. And so this is going back in the year 2010. 2010, I started my own company. We did web design and SEO, and the company grew pretty quickly. Now, how I transitioned to YouTube is just a few years into my company. We did a lot to get a website ranked on the top of Google, and one of the pieces was a YouTube video. We would put that video on the page. It would help give that page content and authority. And so I was looking at the data one day, and this page that was ranking number one on Google, the video that was on that page, I looked over on YouTube, and that video had been getting 50 times more views on YouTube than this page ranking number one on Google. And that caused me to really take notice. And so I started studying it a little bit more. And long story short, I ended up kind of pivoting my business. This is going back 11 or so years ago. I've really just, I love the results. I mean, the results that we wanted were lead gen, and I could see how we could just take this one piece that was way more simple and way more effective of generating leads for businesses. So that's what I focused on the last 11 plus years is this YouTube strategy.
Yeah, it's smart because I've worked with marketing agencies for years, and they try to do it all. They try to do SEO, and they do website and do content strategy, and then they do um, copywriting, and they do it all. And it seemed like the more they do, the none of it was really good, right? It was all just kind of like okay. And so it makes sense that if you specialize in just like one vertical, that you're really going to be able to excel. But I can't think of another place where you would want to focus besides this, especially in today's marketing world where video is just so powerful in people's marketing strategies. Was that part of your decision making, is thinking like, where can I leverage my time the best?
Yeah, certainly. I love, as I mentioned, just following the results, and whatever works best is kind of the direction that I want to go. And so, I discovered this strategy on YouTube, but I've done a lot of experimenting on LinkedIn or on Facebook, or studied what other people have done on YouTube and other platforms, and have really just refined this strategy and gotten it better and better. it really works amazing. I mean, there's a place for lots of other strategy. For example, you could do a paid ads campaign, and the strength of paid traffic or paid advertising is you can do quick iterations, right? You can quickly turn on a campaign, see what headlines work, see what ads work, test out your landing pages, test out your offers, do comparisons. How does this page or this offer compare to this one? And so you can really create a funnel. And if you get to a place where you're profitable with a paid ad campaign, and then you leverage something like my YouTube strategy where you're pulling in organic traffic, send it to that same funnel, then the results will just get better and better. Typically, with the disadvantages of paid ads is low quality leads, right? You're pushing your content in front of people who know that they're being sold to. It's not a pleasant experience versus what I figured out on YouTube. It's a way of really building a relationship with people. They don't feel like they're being sold to. They by the time you have a conversation with them, they know you, they know who you are, they understand your strategy, and they want to work with you. One of my clients says, yeah, they come to me with their credit card already in their hand. They're just it's more of a referral quality lead, and so that's what I love so much about it, because there's a lot of effective strategies again, but when you can really build a relationship like this, it's why would I want to do something else?
Yeah, and a warm introduction is the best introduction. I do a lot of affiliate marketing, and that's why affiliate marketing can work so well is because you're getting that warm intro, and this is a warm intro, but just by a platform. But it's a search engine too, right? So people put a search in, they type something that they're looking to learn about or something that they are interested in finding, and they can come across your content and then start to consume it, which is that introduction. That's where they're starting to build that trust and that relationship with you, as you call it, which I think is a great way of looking at it. Um, and then eventually they get to a point where there's some sort of a call to action, and then they can try to convert them and push them into a funnel. Um, what have you found is some of the best strategies? Let's kind of break down your strategy in general. And by the way, you guys, this is the book that Nate wrote. It's really good. I'm not finished with it yet, but I'm not a big reader. But this is one of the only books I've actually sat down to read in a long time. But it's broken out really well. Like it's all broken out in different colors, and there's lots of graphics in it, and it's just really well done. So if you guys want later on, I'm sure he's going to give you a way to pick up the book, but I'm reading it personally. But let's give kind of the basics, Nate, if you don't mind, of like how your YouTube strategy maybe is different, because you mentioned one of the main differences right out of the gates, which is, there's paid ads, and yours is more organic, right? So you're not paying to put videos in front of people. You're using the search engine as a way to get relevant content in front of your audience.
Yeah, so we can do a couple of comparisons. So that's the first one of comparing a business that wants to advertise. They can do paid ads versus they can create this organic YouTube content. Another comparison is the different type of channels that you'll find on YouTube. There are plenty of YouTubers that will vlog or create entertaining type content. Their purpose is they want to generate revenue from YouTube. YouTube advertises, and they'll share that ad revenue with people or with creators. And if you start to get millions of views on your channel, then you can start to kind of build an income. But the focus that we have is drastically different. Instead of kind of becoming a contractor for YouTube and building a YouTube income, we have a business, and we're leveraging YouTube to generate leads for the business. And so the type of content that we create, the type of traffic on YouTube that we go after is different. We're really focusing on search traffic, like you mentioned. And that's really the goal, because if you think about if your business is built around an expertise, so whether that's you're an expert at real estate investing and you help other people do that, or you're a parenting expert and you want to teach other people how to improve parenting, people go to Google and YouTube and they type in their questions about real estate investing or about parenting, And if you can package your content right, you can make it so that your videos will appear at the top of their search on Google and on YouTube. And so that's the first step. They've never heard of you before, but they have this question. Now they find this video and they're getting help. They don't feel like they're being sold to because you're not selling anything. You're just answering their questions and you're teaching them and giving them value, and that builds a relationship. Typically, your first video that they watch, it won't be extremely long. It might be 5 or 10 minutes, but you've really given them a lot of value. And the call to action at the end of one of those videos will be, hey, now that you understand this principle, you should go watch this video next. And that next video is going to be some of your core content, something that's really going to introduce them more to who you are, more about your strategy. And so that video might be 10 or 15 minutes long. At the end of that video, your call to action is to give them a free gift. It could be a PDF download or a recorded webinar or a mini course, just whatever you've already got working in your funnel. Use that same funnel here on YouTube, and that's how that we start to generate leads. So now if people have watched a couple of videos before they go to your website, before they see your logo, before they see your promotional material or any promo video, there's this relationship. And now when they go to your website, they're actually curious. They're like, okay, what does this person sell? What do they offer? What do they do? How can I work with them? And you nurture them through your email list. You continue to build that relationship, hopefully getting them onto a phone call or a Zoom conversation. And it's just a much better prepared conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. You ease them into it. There's a core concept in your book that I really like called the leaf strategy. I thought it was, I loved the analogy, when you start off with like a big trunk of a tree, which is like your core category, right? And then you start to go up and you get, smaller branches and then smaller twigs and eventually down to the leaf. Can you break down the leaf strategy for us?
Yeah, well, we all have expertise, and when we think about YouTube, and what videos we can make, it's like, well, yeah, I can create some great content. So let's say you're an expert in productivity. Um, Instead of just making a video about productivity and making it the best video, because we might think, well, what if I just get the most amazing cinematographer, or if I hire Steven Spielberg, then I put this productivity video on YouTube. I'm going to get tons of views. It's going to go viral. For every, and these are my own made up numbers, but it's, you'll see what I'm talking about. For every 1,000 videos that are made hoping to go viral, my guess is that one does, right? So we'll see videos that go viral on YouTube. We're only seeing like the 1% or the tenth of a percent of videos. It's probably closer to the tenth of a percent or even worse statistics than that. So instead of trying to just make the best video on productivity or whatever your expertise is, the leaf represents the questions that people are asking. And when I've done keyword research around productivity, I'll give you a couple examples. I found what can increase productivity in a dental office, and I found the question how to improve productivity on a construction site. Those are very specific questions, two different audiences. They're worded differently. It's not like I'm just replacing the word, dental office with construction site, but it's interesting to me how they're worded differently, but I didn't make them up. I just did research to find how are people searching for this? What are they, what spelling, what phrasing are they using when they ask these questions? And so when I find a question like this, that becomes my starting point. That becomes the title of the video. And when I'm preparing what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to answer that question and outline, okay, this video is for a dental team. So I'm going to be talking to the dentist and the receptionist and the dental hygienist and talking about, improving the productivity of this dental practice. Construction site, I might share some of the same principles, but I'm talking to different people and a different business model. So instead of trying to go viral and get millions of views and probably failing at that, Now I have an audience, and it's going to be a smaller audience, but it's going to be a very valuable audience where, I do keyword research and I find the questions of my target audience. So if there's a handful of these dental teams or this construction team that does this Google or YouTube search, imagine what that experience is like when they do that search and then your video pops up in front of them and it's exactly what they're searching for. And they're like, oh, wow, okay. And they hit play. And of course, they're going to watch this video all the way to the end. And so it's a powerful strategy. And so the tree analogy or the leaf strategy is simply that don't make videos on your broad topics like productivity or even breaking that down into a category, which would be the branch, but always focus on those leaves, which are the specific questions that your audience is asking.
And that's the key distinction here for people to recognize is that we're not trying to create content for the masses, which would be a viral video, which you're going to get paid by YouTube, for views. It's the amount of traction that you're getting on that video. This is to build trust with somebody so that you can get them to buy whatever your product is. And so this is why I think maybe you're working with mentors and coaches, because a lot of times they have higher ticket offerings, and so it's easier for them to recoup costs because there's production costs and there's a lot of things that go into creating content if they're selling something expensive. Does this also work with like low price products?
Well, it depends. I would say the answer is yes. I've got clients that have lower price products. I've got a client and friend named Chad Littlefield. He is an expert of meeting facilitation or how to engage an audience and stuff like that. And so he works with a lot of businesses and a lot of meeting planners. But he has a deck of cards. He has a deck of cards that are like what I call them, like memory joggers or conversation starters or things like that. And it's just after using this strategy for a handful of months, he was sharing with me that the revenue, which was significant, the revenue of this deck of cards, it doubled. And so, I mean, that's probably the smallest product I can think of, but it certainly works. I would say that you you don't want to create a business to wrap around your YouTube strategy, but build a business, find a way to make it successful, find a system, find a way of being profitable, and then see if YouTube can really help amplify that and pull in the right people to that business.
That makes sense. Yeah, a couple times you've mentioned doing the research for like these keywords. How would someone go about doing that?
Yeah, there's a variety of tools that might tempt you. There's TubeBuddy, which is a tool built for YouTube. There's a tool called vidIQ, and they don't help with this strategy. They kind of follow the SEO tactics of website SEO, the thing that I did over a decade ago for websites. And I'll just make one side comment. In my observation, Google has drastically changed. It used to be a search engine of websites. So any searches you did, it would show you a list of websites. Well, now it's a content search engine, and they're even experimenting with it being an AI search engine. We're seeing AI at the top, which right now is really annoying to me. But
I like it actually.
okay,
It's
well,
yeah,
what I find annoying about it is if it's not like if it gives me a quick answer and that's what I need, it's really helpful. But if I am searching for something, whether it is a website or whether it is content, I want to go right to the source. I don't want the AI regeneration of that source.
yeah.
But in any case, the Google is now a content search engine, and that's what YouTube is. And so when people are, searching, we can really take advantage of that and leverage the searches that people are doing to bring them to our business and to our content.
So as far as doing this keyword search, then is there another place that you recommend, but besides those first two that are more
But
effective
thanks for
for?
getting me back on track. I kind of lost my train of thought. So
Yeah.
the tool that I love to use is it's called the Keyword Magic Tool. It's by a company called SEMrush. And I do have an affiliate link where you can get a free trial. Let me think of it. It's herokeywordtool.com. Um, what I recommend with that tool, because it's not cheap, I think it's like 130 bucks a month, but what I recommend is you subscribe to it, use it for a few days. I mean, you have up to a month before you have to renew, but you'll be able to research well over a year's worth of leaf titles before you renew it, and then you can cancel it. It's something that I subscribe to ongoing, but I produce over 50 different YouTube channels, and I provide coaching and consulting for a lot more and help them do their keyword research. That's the tool that I use. There's another tool that you'll come across called Answer the Public. It has some strengths, but it's just not near as thorough. There's another tool called Ahrefs, and it's more expensive and not quite as thorough. And so of all the tools, it's the SEMrush. Now, when you pay that fee, you get access to their whole suite of tools. The only one that I use is that Keyword Magic tool.
So you get to this website, you subscribe, and so what do you type in there? Do you type in like you what your core specialty is? Like if say I wanted to do videos about real estate investing. What am I typing into the search there? How am I utilizing the tool?
Yeah, so you would start out just typing in that trunk or that branch. So if you typed in the word real estate investing, there's a button that you can turn on that says questions. And so then it will show you all the questions that people are asking on Google and YouTube around real estate investing. And it as you play around with it a little bit more, I kind of take it for granted because I've been using that tool ever since it was in beta mode like 7 years ago. But on the left side of the screen, there are suggested words. So if you type in real estate investing, it might suggest, maybe this is still too broad of a topic. Here's some ways you can narrow it down. Here's some other popular, so you can then, pick a word like, I'm just trying to make one up off the top of my head, but it might be house. Okay, so real estate investing with the word house and see what questions are there. And so you can play around and search, but the tool does all the heavy lifting. It will show you what questions there are, and typically it's lists of hundreds of different questions, and it shows you their search volume. Now, one recommendation that I have is to don't go not go after the phrases that have extremely high search volume or even consider reasonably high. You might look at a phrase and say, "Ooh, this topic or this question is being searched 1,000 times per month. That would be a good one to rank for." And I totally agree. It would be great to rank for. But what I want to help you do is to dominate YouTube and make sure anytime somebody types in any question around your expertise, you're always at the top. And the chances of you just picking that 1,000 searches a month question, there's going to be a lot of other videos that are already there that are already ranking at the top of YouTube, and the chance of you pushing them down and ranking at the top are low. But if you comb through this list and you find the real specific phrases, kind of like the ones that I shared, how to improve productivity on a construction site or the dental office one, you find questions like that in your area of expertise, or in real estate investing with this example. And even if there are only 10 searches per month, that's the minimum I go to. In this tool, it'll show phrases that even say zero. What zero means in this tool is less than 10. So it's more than zero, but less than 10. And that's what they round it down to zero. But I typically go for phrases that have at least 10, which means between 10 and 19. And even though that sounds like, and it is a very low number, these are your ideal clients, like your target audience here. And so just think about that dental office team. Even if 10 people did that search in a month, but they found your video, it's so related to them, you're probably going to generate leads just from that small amount of traffic. And with this method of keyword research, you're going to find dozens and even hundreds of really specific questions like this. So what you eventually have is you have video one that's bringing in a trickle of valuable traffic, and video two another trickle, and video three, and video 10 and 20. Eventually, all these little trickles of this valuable golden traffic, they do add up to a fire hose. So after you've been doing this for 6 months or for a year, you look at the overall traffic coming to your website from search, and it's tens of thousands of views. Like YouTube breaks this down for you. They tell you, okay, what videos got suggested traffic? That's kind of like the viral type traffic. Which videos came from external sources like Google search or like email? What about YouTube search? And after you do this consistently, you'll start to have tens of thousands of views from search every single month. And that is extremely valuable traffic for lead gen.
Yeah, and it's a compounding effect too, because the video that you made, the first video you made, it doesn't go away.
Hmm.
It now it lives on your channel and it's doing the work for you. And then you create another video with that's on a different leaf. And then that one lives in perpetuity until you take it down. And so now you've got all this content that's building. And like you said, it's a little bit of trickle. It adds up more to a flow. And then pretty soon it's blasting out there. So that's what's so cool about it. My friend Pace Morby says that it's like you're out there cloning yourself. Like
Hmm.
you're creating clones of yourself out there living on the internet, talking about what you want to talk about. And you forget about them because at some point you start to create so much content that you've maybe even moved on, and videos that you created a year ago are no longer relevant to what you're talking about now, but people are still following you.
Yeah, it really becomes transformative. Instead of this just being uh, a marketing campaign or even an effective or a great marketing campaign, as soon as that campaign is done, it turns off. This doesn't turn off, like you mentioned. Videos that I created over a decade ago are still lead generators. And so if you think of what that can do, we map out a plan for a business and we'll look at the next 12 months and set goals for that. But then if you think about, okay, what if you continue this for in year two and in year three? Um, I've helped businesses turn lead gen from YouTube into an eight-figure revenue stream, or
Mm.
I've seen somebody even in the real estate space, successful, had built a seven-figure business in the real estate space as well as other businesses, but after a couple of years on YouTube, was seen as such a thought leader in this space, and it just opened up a lot of doors. It opened up an actual TV show in the space. She's still very strong on YouTube, but a TV show. It opened up a $100 million real estate deal for her. It's just it's pretty incredible. So when you think about um, it in the beginning, it might seem a little bit daunting. Of okay, I'm going to be creating quite a lot of content here, um, but the results. Obviously, that's why I'm kind of biased towards this approach.
Yeah. So I guess thinking about like the logistics of doing this, right? They do the research, they figure out some leaf type questions that are being asked. They log these questions. Now they're going to create all these videos about these specific leaf questions. And then now they got to do the content creation, right? And this is where maybe people start to fall off. We're like, okay, now I got to get in front of a camera. Help people get past the roadblock of, oh my God, I have to be in front of a camera now and create this content. It just seems like such a big thing for a lot of people, right?
It does. Admittedly, if you have a lot of expertise like this, you're probably used to sharing it, and we're not wanting you to change how you present. It's if you can have a one-on-one conversation with somebody and just answer their questions, that's how we want you to present on camera. So if you've never been on camera before like this, it does take practice. Um, to share another tip of efficiency that kind of ties in with this, everyone that I work with, myself, extremely busy. To create a lot of content, if you have a busy schedule, which I assume every listener here does, I recommend batch filming. And what batch filming looks like for me is 20 episodes in a day. If and I've had, I guess I'll go off on that tangent. But if you're having a 9 to 5 filming day, filming 20 episodes, very realistic. That's what we do with all of my clients. They'll fly in, get a good night's sleep the night before, and we'll film 20 episodes. Now you can launch 1 episode per week, and that means you have 20 weeks worth of content. Or you can be aggressive and launch, say, 5 episodes a week, and that means you only have to film one day and have what I would call a daily YouTube channel. You only have to film like that once every 4 weeks. And so that's what I do personally. That's what all my clients do, and it's what I highly recommend. Find a way of creating the systems so that you can really batch film to that degree. Clients that I don't do the filming for, but I just provide consulting, I still recommend they do the same. And I'll say, tell you what, rent an Airbnb for a day. Have that be your filming studio. Find something that's just got some good character. And then you're going to be free of distraction. You'll hire a videographer to come in and do the filming for you that day, and do 20 episodes in a day and report back to me on how it went. Prior to that, one thing that will make that day be a successful filming day, because it is a marathon, filming 20 episodes, you'll have a good night's sleep that night. But if you prepare your content ahead of time, it really, really helps. And so I have my clients submit their outlines to me a week in advance. It allows us to prepare things like thumbnail ideas and whatnot. But the biggest benefit is the weight that it takes off of their shoulders. Now, we don't script our content. We're not going to read it from a teleprompter. We want talking points. So as you do the keyword research and you find these questions or these leaf titles, you narrow it down to the 20 that you're going to film on your filming day. So to prepare, you just take that first question and think, okay, well, what would I want to share? If somebody asked me this question, what would I want to teach them? What steps should they take? And then you go to the next one. You just outline your talking points. When you do the mental work of preparing what you're going to say ahead of time, and you're not procrastinating right to the night before, the morning of filming. So if you do that ahead of time, then on filming day, you just look at your notes and you're like, oh yeah, on this video, point number 1 was this. So you look at the camera and you just deliver point number 1. If you mess up, it's no big deal because we get to edit these things. You just start that sentence over. When you're done delivering point 1, you don't have to remember what comes next. In fact, I encourage you to pause intentionally. So you would pause, look down at your notes. Oh yeah, point number 2 is that. And then you look back at the camera, just deliver point number 2. It takes the pressure off, and obviously filming 20 episodes in a day allows you to be very, very efficient and effective.
It does. Yeah. It's for me, filming is kind of like being in the groove. Once you get your mindset right, that's why I like this batch concept that you're calling it. I've done this before. I found this really cool app called Peerspace. And you can go and you can find these shooting locations, and they have all kinds of photos. And they tell you, you can see the lighting, and sometimes they have like production studio type stuff in these spaces already, and you can even upgrade for like a professional person to help with production. So I've done different kinds, but I like the batch approach because sometimes you just have to get past that mental, like, okay, I'm going to do this, right? And then you film. But if you're only doing one a day, you have to get past that every single time you're going to go film. And if you just have to get past that mental block and be like, all right, I'm doing this, then you just get into a flow. And then the next videos come so much more simple, and easily, because you've gotten into a flow and it just kind of flows at that point.
Yeah, it's an amazing personal development program as well. I'll give you an example. So Noelle Randall, she's in the real estate space. She's taught a lot about Airbnb and vacation rentals. And back in 2020 is when we began working together. She had already grown her channel to about 6,000 subscribers, but it wasn't generating leads. It wasn't really a benefit to her at this point. She just had hopes for it. But then she had seen some of the other channels that I produced, learned about my strategy, and so we started working together. I currently now, she's in Florida, and I currently have a filming house in the Orlando area, but back in 2020 I didn't. So she would fly out to Utah every 4 weeks to film 20 episodes in a day. And in the, you know, like you said, the first video, it's the hardest, but once you get the momentum going, and so that definitely happened for her. And every 4 weeks, there was a big step of improvement. Like the first time or two, I was coaching her on setting hooks at the beginning of the video. So when you start out your episode, you want to create some curiosity about what you're going to be talking about. And if it's a 10-minute video, let people know the value of sticking around for this 10 minutes. And so I kind of explained that to Noelle, but when she started a video, she would say the title and kind of introduce it, but she's like, well, tell me what to say. So I would tell her what to say, and she would say it and deliver it great. We'd get to the next episode, and by the way, she would deliver great content. She knew her stuff inside and out. We'd start the next episode, and setting these hooks was like, all right, just tell me what to say again. And, well, a month later or 2 months later, she just kept getting better and better to where she really got it. And now I'd say she does better curiosity hooks than me. And so the more you do it, yeah, you're going to be uncomfortable in the beginning, but you will get comfortable, and you'll get better and better. And if you looked at my videos from a decade ago, kind of embarrassing, but that's how every channel is on YouTube. I mean, the biggest, and this is obviously a different type channel, but if you look at Mr. Beast, go back and look at his earlier content. It's quite funny. Or MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, a tech reviewer. Look at his content today. He interviews people like Barack Obama, and he's the authority. He's the leading authority on tech reviews. But go back and watch his content from when he was a teenager. So anyway, everyone listening to this has probably already presented and shared and taught around their expertise. And so you're going to take that next step and start doing it on video.
How important is the production quality of the video? This is where I think people can get stuck. They think they need expensive cameras and lighting and a Shure mic like the one I got here. And they think, oh man, I can't afford that stuff, or it's just too much. Like, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, the reality is technology has come so far that the camera that you have on you right now, the phone that you carry with you, it's an amazing camera. And all you've got to do is face the light source. So if you've got a window, don't have the window behind you, just have the window in front of you, and put your camera on some type of a stand or tripod so it's steady, and just talk to the camera. If you're close enough to it, the audio is going to be great. You can increase your production quality from there. Like, right now I'm just using my webcam to talk to you when I'm filming YouTube content. I do use a DSLR camera so I can blur the background, but is blurring the background gonna really increase the performance of my video? Is it gonna help me get more views? Is it gonna help me generate more leads? Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. I don't know how to measure that, but I do know that if you put valuable content out there versus you take shortcuts or your content isn't really that helpful, that's what's going to make the biggest difference. So don't stress about the production quality. Make it look nice, make it sound nice, but really focus on just helping them, really providing good answers to the questions that they're asking and giving them that value. And that's the biggest determiner of if that video will succeed or not.
Yeah. Earlier, you were talking about funnels, right? So like a landing page or a web page where people go and they enter in some information to get information, or they just buy, right? And so that's like a natural flow. What I've been struggling with for years is how to create a funnel out of a YouTube video, right? Because they can watch the video and then there's no place to click to buy, right, on the video. So what's like a good way of setting up this funnel where they're watching a video and then you can send them strategically by telling them to do something or some sort of a call to action so they go, I guess, into the show notes or the description of the video to do what you told them to do.
Mhm. So yeah, there's a couple ways of doing it. On the technical side, you can put that link in the description. At the end of the video, you can add what's called an end screen, which you can have it linked to another video or to subscribe, or you can actually link to your website. That feature, it doesn't come in the beginning. That feature is added once your channel is seasoned, once you've got a certain number of subscribers and watch time. But now talking about it more strategically, you're sharing valuable content, and basically you're giving them this free value, and you have a lot more to give. And so if you can offer them a lead magnet, this free gift, let's say you're teaching them about how to analyze a property, and then you say, and I'll tell you what, I want to give you free access to a calculator. You can come and run some numbers yourself. I'll put the link in the description below. It might be bensonscalculator.com, right? You say what that resource is, and so that's the easiest way of making that transition from, they're going to leave YouTube, go to that landing page, and get that free resource. So this whole time on YouTube, we're not selling. They don't know what services we offer, except just by if it naturally comes up as you're explaining something. You can mention, yeah, the last time I did this, I was working with so and so. I mean, you can hint at what you do, but the goal is to give them value, to really answer their question. And at the end of that video, you have a call to action to give them a free gift that's going to help them some more. But at that point, they take that step to your website. They join your email list. So now you can continue to nurture them through email, and they're going to explore your website, watch the video on that landing page, but perhaps go to your home page or your services page and see the content and watch the videos there, read about the testimonials. They might even go explore your LinkedIn profile, and they just start to explore and go back to YouTube and binge watch a few more episodes. So by the time you have a conversation with them, they've gone through this amazing process of, I've heard people call it indoctrination or whatnot. They know what your strategy is, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah. So you've been helping, I guess, seven-figure influencers for years to grow their presence on YouTube. In your opinion, what do you think is the difference between the people that make it and the ones that just never really get any traction and just struggle and eventually give up?
Great question. So in the beginning, when I discovered this strategy, I found the best results came when you launched at least 5 episodes a week. And that's hard. That's hard for a lot of businesses to do. And stay tuned, because I'll share with you some good news if you don't have the ability to go that aggressive right now. But that was a big thing, and part of the reason it works so well is if somebody had built a business already to 7 figures, so they had earned $1 million or more in the previous year, that says some things about the business. It means that they've already figured out a way to market. They've already figured out how to do sales and fulfill on it, right? They've got momentum in their business. So, and if it's a business based around expertise like this, well, then it became so easy to leverage YouTube, to just take those viewers on YouTube and put them into that same funnel. And so for businesses that have those things, if they really follow the leaf strategy and they find the questions, it's worked every single time. Now, we did some experiments over the years. We would try channels that we only launched 1 episode a week, and until the last couple of years, those channels didn't do so well. But we're finding now, and I'll tell you the difference that we made. We're actually having great results. The channels grow a lot more gradually if you're launching less content, but you can start to generate leads and get the same the same type of results, even just with one episode a week. The difference is this. When I first started, like the first real estate investing channel I created, that's probably going back right around 11 years ago. And this was the first channel of its kind on YouTube. And so every leaf title, picture a tree, and there's a lot of different branches on the real estate investing tree. There's single family homes, there's commercial, there's even, parking lots. I mean, there's I've learned of so many different types of real estate investing. Well, back 11 years ago, it didn't matter what branch. We could just pick a leaf here and a leaf there and a leaf there, and we would really start to get traction. But as more and more people were learning my strategy, whether in the real estate space or in other spaces, they would try to just, okay, well, here's a leaf I found, here's a leaf, I can answer that. And it became a little bit more competitive. But what I've found in the last couple of years is, well, let's hone in as we do this research and compare this branch to another branch, and not just compare like investing in land to investing in, duplexes or something like that, but get into, let's say you're an expert at duplex investing. Let's get into the duplexes and compare the different branches there, because you're going to find some people that are brand new. You're going to find some people that are pretty seasoned in real estate investing, but they want to learn about duplexes. So the more you dig, and I call this just hone in on the right branch. When you find the right branch and realize every single question or every single leaf title on this branch is my target audience, and they're really going to benefit, these people would really benefit from what I have to offer, then you just by focusing on that branch, you can have great success even launching one episode per week. So to answer your question, it does take specific strategy. There's a lot of people that will hear what I teach, or they'll even read my book, but they'll implement parts of it, the parts that stood out to them the most, but they skip some other parts. I put the steps there just because I'm like, okay, this is the recipe. This is the recipe that I found to work. And if you follow the same recipe, you can expect it to work for you too.
Yeah, and it also seems to me too that one of the biggest pieces of this, trying to equate this to success, is the consistency and the longevity of this compounding effect of building your influence, getting better at it, just perfecting your skills and figuring out which branch you're really going to focus on. That all takes time to happen. And so if people give up after a few months, a year of not getting any major traction, it's never going to materialize.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I'm glad you brought up that point. Let's say you're real excited about this approach and you think, all right, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do 5 episodes a week. This is a gradual momentum building approach, and you're not going to see the return that you might hope for in the first couple months, the first few months, right? And so going that aggressive, launching 5 episodes a week, and you're going to see how gradual it seems to grow. You're probably going to feel discouraged. Now, when I work with people, I prepare them for this, and I let them know, like, here's what you're going to expect, and just so they have that proper expectation, then they're not so disappointed. If you did have that discouragement and you're like, all right, I don't know if this is working, and let's not say you stop, but let's just say you slow down. You're like, I'm just going to do 1 episode a week. It would have been better to just start with 1 episode a week, and as you start to build momentum and see growth, and you've got a stockpile of videos, then increase it to 2, and down the road increase it to 5. A guy named Jason Schroeder, he's in the construction industry. He provides a lot of consulting and help to construction workers or construction companies and businesses, really helping them, do better in that industry. When I started working with him, we started launching 1 episode per week, and after a few months, he did increase to 2. After another 6 months, he did increase to 5. he saw even just with one episode per week, oh wow, this is bringing a lot of attention. I just had a conversation with him last week, and he said, because we were looking at more topics and talking about the future of filming and whatnot, and he's like, right now we have more business that we can handle from YouTube, and that's a channel that we have been launching 5 episodes a week now, but for the first few months, just 1 episode a week, and then two for another 6 months. So
Yeah, and that lowers the bar and it makes it more attainable, right? If you start off with five right out of the gates, it's going to just seems like such a big thing to take on. If you start with one or two and you build up, and you just, in that point too, you're trying to see if you're even good at it. And if you want to do it, like you may figure out after a month or two that you hate creating content. It's just going to be dreadful every time you have to do this. You got to like it too. And so I would suggest that people definitely ease into it. I like the idea. It's better to just build up than it is to pull back, because
mhm.
that probably has something to do with the algorithm, right? Like the algorithm is somehow sensing that the person is not creating as much content as they were at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. So the algorithm is our friend, right? We're the search engine part of the algorithm is really just trying to provide people what they're searching for. And so we partner with that and saying we're going to create the content that people are searching for. And if we do that right, then the algorithm will work for us and show our content to the right people. Now, if we start out really aggressive, we're launching, say, 5 episodes a week, and then YouTube sees us slow down, it's like, oh, this channel is kind of on its way out. I don't pretend to know what it's thinking, but in my experience, the opposite happens as you increase. I mean, if you're consistent with 1 episode a week, consistency is highly rewarded, and meaning stay at the same consistency for months. But then as you increase that and stay consistent with that, um, YouTube's just like, oh, this channel's been consistent and it's even doing more. Let's YouTube tests things out. It will see signals from your channel and just it will test sending a certain audience or certain type of people to it. And obviously we're focusing on search. And so as you've created a lot of content on a specific branch, the algorithm starts to learn, this channel is really creating a lot of great content for these type questions, and so you eventually get to a point where you really dominate that branch. So
We're getting toward the end of the hour here, but I wanted to touch on YouTube Shorts real quickly. How do you see that influencing this approach? Is it something that you can still leverage?
yeah, definitely. Right now I'm doing experimenting with shorts again. I've done experimenting in the past, and I haven't been as impressed. Like shorts are enticing because you're going to get higher numbers of views on these shorts than on your regular videos. It doesn't translate into as many subscribers, and even those that do, they don't. Just in my experience, there's plenty of exceptions, I'm sure, but they don't translate into the quality leads. Um, However, I am doing some experimenting because YouTube just launched a new feature. Let me explain the benefit, though, of longer content versus these shorts. When the longer you can have people watching you in a video, the more they're going to be impacted, the more of a relationship that's going to be built there. And if they can watch a couple of these longer videos, they're much more likely to become a lead, to join your email list, right? In shorts, and shorts can be found through search now, and that could be helpful if people are looking for a quick answer and they see a short. You can get their attention, um, but a lot of times they just swipe to the next short and swipe to the next. The feature that came out a few months ago on YouTube is down at the bottom of a short, you can link it to a longer format video. So if you have a
Mm.
short, let's say you record a really short version of a topic, let's say it's 30 or 45 seconds, and you teach them something, you bring their attention to something, and then you can say something like, you want to learn more about this topic, I created a full video and I've linked to it right down below. And so that's what I'm currently experimenting with, is seeing how can we translate short views into longer format views that are really going to build those relationships. I am seeing some results. It's I would say it's not as rewarding as I was hoping,
Yeah.
but it's always worth experimenting. I know YouTube's changing shorts as we speak. Saying, okay, what about 3 minutes instead of having a limit of 1 minute? And so anytime there's a change, it's worth doing experimenting and seeing. But as far as where we're really generating the leads, it's the long format content.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've been playing with shorts too. And I almost look at it as like a trailer, right? Before you go watch the actual movie, you just get a little piece of it and enough to pique your interest and want to click that other link to go watch the full video. So I think it could work if it's leveraged properly. Well, this has been amazing, Nate. I really appreciate you taking the time. For anybody out there that's thinking about maybe doing some YouTube content creation, definitely check out Nate's book. I've really enjoyed it. We'll put a link in the description here where you can go pick that up. But where else can people find you, Nate?
Well, yeah, you can find me on YouTube. My channel is Nate Woodbury, and so I teach a lot of this same content. And a note on that book, you can get a free plus shipping version of the book. So you go to natesyoutubebook.com, and that means you just pay the printing and the shipping cost, but there's no profit to me. And that would be my gift to you if you go to natesyoutubebook.com.
Awesome. Well, you guys go check that out. Please look at his content. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. And Nate, really appreciate you taking some time and spending some time with us. And for those of you who are looking for some more amazing guests like Nate Woodbury, please just watch the next video or check out some of our other content there. Hope everybody has a great day. Thanks again, Nate.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
That's a wrap on today's Real Estate Revelations. Thank you for tuning into the REI Hacker Podcast. Remember, every property has a story, and every deal is a lesson. Until next time, keep hacking the real estate world.